everyone, and happy almost Valentine's Day. Welcome to the Vampire Diaries After Show here on the stream.tv. I'm still trying to collect myself after that episode. We were just crying our little hearts out, and I bet most of you were too, because that was a freaking amazing episode. I'm your host, Meghan Lamontagne, and I am joined by my very lovely co-hosts. Starting to my left, we have the lovely Jessica Hickam.
Hey, guys.
And to my right, Melinda Hale. And the far end, we missed her last week, Rachel Rowland.
I'm back.
Oh my goodness. So there's literally so many things to talk about this episode, but I think...
Where do we begin?
Where do we begin? And I think I want to start on a lighter note, and let's talk about that Steroline Kiss. Oh my gosh, we've been...
Finally!
Finally.
And it was like an Instagram picture, right? Like just like gorgeously like filtered with the sunlight. I mean,
I loved it.
It was everything we wanted and more.
I'm like,
Well, that I wanted.
You wanted.
I had chills, and I have to make a shout out to @Laney14. She put the Pride and Prejudice photo together and the Steroline Kiss, and it just made me so excited. I was like, yay, our Pride and Prejudice moment.
I love it. And I want to kiss a guy like that, where I kiss him and we're outside, and all of a sudden you see the sun like come through as their lips start parting. Like, maybe that can happen someday, maybe not. Melinda, how did you feel about it though?
I'm always the one.
We all loved it.
I will obviously agree. It was beautifully shot. I thought the way it was acted was great. I still feel like they're brother and sister to me. I don't know. It felt so
Okay,
weird.
you have to understand what we're going through. We're like lost in this moment. We've got chills. We're like, oh my gosh, True Love of Melinda's like, it was on the preview. It was on the preview, guys. It was on the preview. We're like,
It was
Melinda.
on the preview. They did show it on the preview, so we already knew they were going to hold hands. It was really sweet. But I really am now wondering what's going to happen with Caroline and Stefan, because she was with him instead of her mom. So I don't know if she's going to have resentment towards him because of that, and I think that'd be interesting. But I mean, I was never against Steroline, but I was never actually for it. It was just, it felt like they were just friends.
And you said that before we even started seeing like the previews for next week, and I think it's such a good point of like, will she resent him now?
right.
Yeah, because they said that in the preview. They were like, I'm worried about Caroline.
That she's
I don't
not
think she's
doing
going to resent him, only because it was him, Stefan, at the end that made her have her final moment with her mom.
That's
Very
true.
true.
That's a good
That's
point.
true.
Yeah, I just think Caroline's obviously going to go through a hard time, but I don't think it's going to be because of Stefan.
But do you think she's sorry, go ahead.
I want to bring up a throwback. I don't remember who it was that said it, but someone was like, what if this sparks like Caroline having not a ripper phase, but like being
Going off the
bad?
rails.
Like,
Right,
yeah,
or
like,
she like turns her emotions off.
Right.
Yeah.
We do
we
need
did
to
talk
see
about that a
different
little
side of
bit
Caroline.
last
we
week.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so that was obviously a joyous moment, but then Mrs. Forbes passes away, and that scene, where did we lose it the most? When she was talking with Damon?
Oh, yeah, when she was talking with Damon.
That scene with
it was
Damon.
incredible.
And I have to say, I actually had the opportunity to interview the producers, and I spoke with Marguerite McIntyre, who plays Sheriff Forbes, and that ending scene where she's talking about how Caroline is extraordinary, so she's okay being ordinary. She wrote that for her character. So they incorporated something that Marguerite had written for her character into her final words.
wow.
That's awesome.
Isn't that so great?
And thank you for going and interviewing them, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have known that.
It was so much fun, and it made the episode so much more meaningful, just because Julie Plec, who is the executive producer, was sobbing. I mean, there were reporters from E, there were reporters from, every major outlet was there, and we're like passing tissues around. Everybody just like lost it.
That scene with her and Damon was probably my favorite scene of the
wonderful,
night, because
right.
we love their chemistry together.
From the get-go.
From the get-go.
Yeah, right.
From the get-go. And even though I was sad for Caroline that she couldn't have been there in those final moments, I really am glad it was Damon.
Me too.
I have to say, like, just coming from like an actor's point of view, is they talk about when you have a really intense scene of like letting the scene breathe, and we had so much going on in the scene of like the Jeremy and the Mrs. Forbes, and like there was just so many moments with Damon and Mrs. Forbes of when he was like, oh, I killed that one, of where they gave you a break and then brought you back into like bawling, and that was just so done well. Like,
It really,
Loved it.
This was definitely, I think, the best episode we've had in, I don't
A
even know
while
how
since
long.
it started.
It's
Since the
so
season
good.
started.
The writing was on point. The scenes were each on point. It was just awesome.
This
I
will
just loved
definitely
it.
probably go down in history as one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if it's just because it was kind of dragging for a long time, but we're going to talk a little bit later about Kai, but he wasn't in the episode at all, and as much as I love Kai, I didn't miss him.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't.
Paying homage to the original characters
right.
and like saying goodbye to 2 of the original characters, so I liked that it was more focused that way.
But I have to say, just like I told Jessica when we were watching it, I said, honestly, I can't remember the last time like Vampire Diaries made me genuinely like cry.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like I think it was something with Damon and Elena last
when
time.
Damon went to the
Yeah.
other side and Elena lost it, that was a really sad moment.
That was sad.
Probably, yeah.
There was another moment though.
I think it was
when
back
they were
towards
in
the
the
beginning.
house.
Yes,
right?
that one. That's
what moment was that? But I sobbed too.
He was like saying, "I can't be with you" or something.
Something
'cause
like
it's not
that.
healthy.
That
was
one
the
got me
last
too.
time. So it's been a while since I had some tears.
And then Caroline crying after that whole little bike scene with her mom. Oh my gosh, it was just a great episode. But someone else we have to talk about is Jeremy, because he's no longer going to be on the show, but obviously such a prominent character and a big surprise there at the end that I was not expecting. And Jessica knew it the whole time, and she was like, I'm like, Jessica, just tell me.
I know. So I saw the episode yesterday, and then we actually got to talk to Stephen R. McQueen, who plays Jeremy, and it was really, really awesome to have all the producers there, because we, of course, asked the question, so is he going to come back? Are we going to see him as a hunter? And the answer is, yeah, probably.
That's awesome.
Like, thank goodness, right? So they did tease that he could be maybe on the originals, that he could come back to Mystic Falls for like family reunion kind of things, or even that he could get his own show. So there's talk, nothing concrete, but it's kind of exciting.
Would you guys watch if Jeremy got his own spinoff? I mean, I love Jeremy, but
I
with
don't think
the
he's
originals
enough to have a show.
I would give it a shot, because I remember when I first saw the originals and I was like, oh my gosh, these copycats. But like, I love the originals now.
Yeah, but the original, when they came onto Vampire Diaries, they added a whole new element, and I thought that they deserved a spinoff. Jeremy's just kind of like,
I, for one, am glad he's not just leaving the show just because he's going to live a normal life. It would have been a great way to end on a happy note, but Jeremy's so much more than that and deserved to leave with so much more than that.
Yeah.
Now going to be a hunter. And that ending scene with Alaric is so symbolic, because that was sort of his step-in dad, and just tugged at our heartstrings.
It was just so good.
I know. But we were talking about that scene with Mrs. Forbes and Damon, and Damon's character was just so great this episode. Isn't it funny, the roller coaster ride we've gone on with Damon? That's
why we love him.
That's why we love him.
That's why he's such a good character.
Yeah.
And
No, he's a great character, and I've always loved his relationship with Liz, because he really did. I feel like that was one of his only friends, that he actually called her a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
It's
and he
so
doesn't
true.
say that about a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think he really, really loved her deep down.
Yeah.
And Bonnie now too, probably he considers a friend, which is
Right.
interesting.
And that was the moment that just like got the
Right.
tears going.
Oh,
Was
gosh.
between the two of them, because he is so sweet to her.
We didn't take any. Well, we got maybe a few pictures in that moment. But guys, when I say we were bawling, like, it was waterworks.
It was going down.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember this. This is going into another storyline, but it's about Damon and Liz. I don't know if you remember the flashback when he did kill like the Salvatores. He was friends with her back then as well.
Yeah, they've
he
had
always
friendship for a long
they've
time.
had friends,
Yeah.
even though she doesn't know that. But he's always been friends with her. So I think that's really cool that he's always been connected to her.
I really liked that they chose to do the ending scene with him.
Yes,
with Damon.
I
like
agree.
you wouldn't have thought.
Right.
Like
I thought it
I
was
really
beautiful.
liked that.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to be writing Liz's eulogy, and we
Yeah.
will see that in next week's episode. So it's going to be very emotional and very sad, but great, fantastic scene. So another kind of not as much of a bigger part of the episode, but was freaking Enzo just coming out of nowhere and knocking down my man Matt. Like, I was not okay with that.
Your man Matt and Jeremy
And stepping
tonight.
on Jeremy's face.
I know.
Jeez.
And so I am just really curious. We've all been a little bit confused about that storyline with Enzo and Sarah and Matt, but Jessica here kind of got some of the inside scoop and was basically telling us it's okay that we're a little confused, because
Yes.
Julie Plec says that.
That was the consensus.
Right.
So like, it's kind of good that we're confused. I mean, not good, but they're building to something. They know that we're confused.
Yeah.
kind of the.
Well,
that's kind of the
he
point.
needs some kind of comeback, because you guys know I've been all like, ooh, Enzo's hot, blah, blah, but I was not liking it today. Not enjoying it. He was ruining some really great moments.
Where do you guys think it's going with Enzo?
I don't know because they have so many things to go back to. We still need to explain why he took the paintings.
Oh.
We don't know that still. We don't know
What's his deal with Matt?
why he's using Matt. I still don't understand his obsession with Stefan. I feel like though because Stefan works so hard to keep Sarah away from the vampire lifestyle, that is part of it. But I still don't know why he wants to ruin Stefan.
Also, in that moment, he like made himself look good to Sarah. Like he was like rescuing Matt or
But she
whatever.
didn't know there were vampires, and Stefan didn't want her to know there were vampires, and he took her away from that lifestyle. So Enzo's gonna be like, "Well, I'm gonna tell her there's vampires," but I don't know why.
I think, well, we did get that teaser that he's like going to ruin her.
Yeah, right.
So I think he's gonna entice her into the lifestyle and then just crush her.
Yeah, right.
And before we take a quick commercial break, I don't want to put anyone on the spot because I'm kind of putting myself on the spot, but do we have any favorite Jeremy moments just from way back in the beginning that we want to recognize? I think I just love everything with Bonnie.
Yeah.
I know this is really, we didn't really get a chance to think about it, but I was just,
One of my favorite lines, and this is way back in season 1, when he was with Vicky.
I love her memory.
He was with Vicky, and she didn't want anybody to know that they had been together over the summer, and she's like, "You're like a little puppy that's been following you around." He's like, "When's the last time you deflowered a puppy?" Like, it was so funny.
awesome.
So my favorite line that Jeremy said
I
in the
love
whole
it.
season.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
have
great.
Man, I loved the whole Silas storyline with him. I liked that he kind of like that was when the first moment where we were kind of like, oh, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I take that back. My favorite moment with Jeremy is when he started pumping that iron.
Yes,
That was
right.
like, whoa,
What the heck?
Jeremy.
He was totally
That's what I was
working
gonna say.
out.
Was my probably would be when he was being Mr. Bad Boy. Like I know
Yeah.
he was being
Yes.
rebellious, but he kind of just had this like air about him where I was like, ooh, do I have a crush on the little brother?
Right.
I think we all had a little crush on him.
We did. We want to hear all about your favorite Jeremy moments, anything from whichever episode that you can remember. Tweet us using the hashtag TVDAS, and we'll be back after this commercial break.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live. In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited. So this is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy. It was hot. It was heated. I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell them go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Hey guys, welcome back. We missed you for that hot second, but we are very excited to take your comments right now. There's a lot of you watching us live on YouTube, and yo, be easy on my girl Jessica over here.
Oh,
She was
my poor sunburn.
You guys are
so
calling out
bad.
her sunburn. She's gorgeous. Just a little bit more sunscreen next time.
It was a really long hike today, guys.
Hey, if you work out, you get it. You get it. All right, so our first fan question of the night comes from Kay Chidana. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but you say hi, hello. Whose friendship, in your opinion, has been the best? Is it Damon or Steroline?
Ooh.
Steroline for sure.
You think Steroline?
I just think it's, well, because they've always been friends from the beginning. And I think I'm going to be going for Damon and Bonnie
That's
because
what I was gonna
loved
say.
what
Yes.
they went
It's
through.
such a huge contrast of like
yeah.
they hated each other
Yeah.
and then watching them bond was just like
and completely care about each other now, which I
Yeah.
think is really cool.
I think I'm gonna have to say Damon only because I saw them from the beginning as a friendship, but I did kind of start to see the Steroline movement. I think some of us did a little bit early on, so I always kind of saw Caroline and Stefan as a couple, and then Damon and Bonnie as a friendship.
Oh man, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna jump on the Damon train
Yeah. It's just adorable. Great question. Thank you for writing in. Our second fan question comes from Kaylee, or at lab_queen. Do you think that Bon Kai might be a thing now that Kai has feelings and Bon Bon may return as a different person? Oh my gosh.
That's great.
That's a really great
I want Damon to get jealous if something happens with Bonnie.
Yeah, because remember when they had us so sucked into their friendship, we were like, ooh, could they, maybe, do they?
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that it'll be like Kai and Elena, and then Damon and Bonnie. I think Elena's gonna be the jealous one. I think that Bonnie's gonna come back, and Elena's gonna be totally thrown off by how close they are now.
Right.
But I also think that if Damon was the one to get jealous, it would be like a very big brother, like, no. Kind of like that kind of jealousy.
Did they give us any spoilers in your thing yesterday?
No, I mean, it was like so interesting just because the episode was so heavy and focused on like the cancer storyline that like we just didn't even go there. We were all like wiping our eyes, you know? But I mean, as far as Bonnie goes, they did say that she's, when asked, will she be back soon? Julie Plec said, yes, she will. And that's,
good. Oh,
so, but
thank God.
I mean, what does soon mean?
Right.
But they did say that we would see her soon and that she would be back soon. Or that, I guess, not back, but that the 1994 storyline would be resolved. Because they don't want to spoil like where they're going with her. But it will be resolved soon.
I'm glad. I am glad. We needed that. Our next fan question comes from at Billa_bang. What will Kai be up to next now that he has additional emotions, and when will he be able to kill? He promised. He did promise. And we do love Kai for his little killing sprees. I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting. We didn't see Kai at all this episode. We
missed him.
What do we think?
Yeah, we can tell everybody missed him because that's what the questions are. Everyone's like, where was Kai?
Yeah.
He's a character that's loved. They're keeping him.
Right.
And I don't know what they have in store for him.
They have to keep him around.
One of the things that I asked was, did they know going into the merge that he was always going to win? And they didn't. They said it was like American Idol on set. Is what they called it.
Oh, really?
So funny.
They didn't know who was going to die and who was going to live and win.
See, I'm telling you, I really think this is one of those situations
where
he was just supposed to have like 2 or 3 episodes, and they were like, we need to write him in because he was so fantastic.
I agree. Yeah,
even while he's killing people.
Exactly.
No, he's great.
We missed
But
Kai.
now what for him?
That's why they took a break. They were like, quick, somebody come up with a storyline for Kai. What can we do with him?
Right.
Maybe he and Enzo will be buddies?
Ooh.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a Bonnie, Elena, Kai, Damon thing.
Do you think they'll bring Tyler back to work with Kai? Because they kind of started that storyline.
But that whole storyline's done now.
Is it done?
Yeah,
I don't know.
merged.
There's so many different directions. I'm just excited that Kai is still with us and on board. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. What do we have going on YouTube over there other than chatting about your sunburn?
Yeah, it's just 1 or 2 comments.
Oh, good, okay.
Lots of good comments tonight, though. I mean, it's so fun reading all of them. I could just like sit here and get lost in the comments. But something that I thought was interesting was Asma Mohammed. She said, I would love to see Enzo and Klaus together. And I thought that was such an interesting thing. So how do you guys think that Enzo and Klaus would handle each other?
I don't think they would handle each other very well. I think it would be a who's like
an
the
ego.
bigger. Yeah, it'd totally be an
That's
ego
why I think it would be
thing.
so interesting if they threw him onto the originals and was like, play.
Right. It'd be a battle of who's the worst, of who's like
Especially
the biggest
because he has like the
vampire.
flirty thing with Caroline,
Yeah.
right? I think Klaus would just
Enzo,
like,
He would not be okay with that.
not like that.
Enzo's storyline right now is probably, I really think it's setting him up to be the bad guy.
Right.
Because if you think about it, Kai, yeah, he's bad, but he also is now having his empathy with Luke, and then Damon, not bad anymore.
Right.
So who's the real bad guy? Right. And we saw that clearly tonight with him
Kai's
just coming
also
out of nowhere.
entertaining, even when he was doing his evil stuff and
so
killing.
good.
He's so entertaining.
But do we think
Enzo, I don't really feel that.
But do we
from
think
him.
Enzo would be entertaining if they gave him more airtime? Think about it. He hasn't had a lot of airtime.
He was last season. I loved him
we were
last
totally
season.
crushing on Enzo over there. We were like, hey.
And now we're like, Kai. We just like the bad boys.
well, I just we're like, yeah.
I just think Christopher Wood might. I think he's a more exciting actor than Michael Malarkey. That's just me. Like, not that he's not good. I just think he brings something really, really interesting to the screen, to the character.
I think it'll be a total shame if they make Kai good.
I feel like that's But that's what they do with their bad guys. They make you like love them.
Yeah.
And I feel like they might, to keep him around, to play with him, to get some empathy, to make him bad again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, they
so
have to
good
go
being
somewhere
bad.
with the Sarah storyline as well.
Yeah, and I don't know how they're gonna tie it all in. But they promised
Right.
they were going to. So
Good. I'm glad you got the inside scoop, girl, because I would be all like, what is going on? So thanks to Jessica. We kind of know what's going on.
maybe a little bit.
A little bit more. We can kind of rest our heads tonight and be like, all right.
I do want to say though, if you guys want to know more, you can read my whole article. We're actually doing a series of articles coming up on sheknows.com. So check it out if you want to see like the whole interview scoop. There was so much that we talked about, and it's awesome.
And there's a lot that we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear, would you love to see if Jeremy got his own series? Because apparently they're talking about it. So you guys are in the know before anyone else on that as well. Just so many things that we talked about tonight that are very open-ended. This episode left us very open-ended, and we are excited to jump on Twitter and see what you all have to say. So hashtag TVDAS. Any final words, ladies, before we wrap this up and see another sad episode next week?
Oh, hopefully it'll be happier.
See, I'm just so excited. Like, I feel like Tom Cruise wanted to jump on the couch for Steroline. I'm like, yes, let's see where this goes.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's going to be juicy for sure. Well, we love you all. Have a fantastic Valentine's Day, and we will see you next Thursday after the Vampire Diaries on the CW.
Hey guys, for more Vampire Diaries After Show, make sure you hit that button and subscribe to the stream.tv.